Hello and welcome to today's national news update on the Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo and here are today's top headlines. Deadly bandit attack intensify in Zamfara as farmers killed in fresh rural assault. Police launch nationwide manhunt after surge in kidnapping cases across northern states. Tinubu government pledges stronger action on insecurity amid growing public concern. And now the news in details. Armed bandit groups have intensified attacks in parts of Zamfara State, targeting rural farming communities in renewed violence that has left several residents dead and many others displaced. Reports indicate that attackers stormed villages during late-night raids, destroying farmlands and forcing survivors to flee. Local authorities say security deployments have been increased, but vast forested terrains continue to aid criminal mobility. Humanitarian agencies warn that food production in affected areas may decline further due to persistent insecurity. The Nigeria Police Force has launched a nationwide manhunt following a recent spike in kidnapping incidents across several northern states. Security operatives are tracking suspected criminal networks believed to be operating across rural highways and forest corridors. Authorities say coordinated operations involving intelligence units, local vigilantes, and military support are underway. Families of victims are demanding faster rescue efforts, while government officials assure citizens that enhanced surveillance and border monitoring will help disrupt kidnapping syndicates. The federal government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed its commitment to tackling insecurity following growing public concern over rising violent crimes. Officials say new security strategies are being implemented, including improved intelligence sharing, increased troop deployment, and community policing initiatives. The administration insists that recent reforms aim to strengthen coordination among security agencies. Critics, however, continue to call for faster results, especially in rural areas where banditry and kidnapping remain persistent threats to livelihood. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is making final preparations for the Ekiti governorship election, with materials deployed across all local government areas. Security agencies have also positioned personnel at strategic locations, including border communities, to prevent disruptions. Electoral officials say logistics, beavers configuration, and result transmission systems are ready for deployment. Civil society groups have urged transparency and voter protection, while political parties conclude last-minute mobilization ahead of what is expected to be a competitive contest. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has raised alarm over increasing use of motor parks and transport routes by drug trafficking networks. Officials say criminal groups are exploiting interstate transport systems to move illicit substances across regions. The agency has intensified surveillance operations and public awareness campaigns targeting drivers and park operators. Authorities also emphasize community cooperation in reporting suspicious activities, noting that drug abuse and trafficking continue to pose serious public health and security challenges nationwide.
We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue.
The Nigeria Senate is considering a review of the NSCDC Establishment Act to enhance the operational capacity of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Lawmakers argue that the agency now faces armed criminal threats beyond its original mandate. Proposals include improved equipment, better coordination with other security agencies, and clearer legal authority. The debate reflects broader concerns about Nigeria's evolving security challenges, where infrastructure protection and internal security operations increasingly overlap in complex ways. Nigeria's refugee situation has worsened, with government estimates indicating that over 145,000 citizens are currently displaced across Africa. Many are reportedly living in Cameroon, Niger, Chad, Libya, and South Africa due to conflict and insecurity. The National Commission for Refugees says repatriation efforts continue but depend on voluntary return agreements. Humanitarian agencies are calling for increased international cooperation to support displaced populations as regional instability continues to drive cross-border movement and humanitarian pressure on host communities. Hundreds of Nigerians remain stranded in South Africa amid renewed xenophobic concerns, despite government evacuation promises. Only part of the scheduled repatriation flights has been completed, leaving many citizens without shelter or financial support. Community groups say affected individuals are facing harsh conditions after traveling long distances for registration. The Nigerian government insists evacuation plans are ongoing, while diplomatic missions are working to stabilize the situation and ensure the safe return of all registered evacuees. The federal government is expanding agricultural support programs aimed at improving food production and reducing inflation pressures. Through fertilizer distribution schemes, thousands of smallholder farmers are receiving subsidized input for the current planting season. Officials say the initiative is part of broader efforts to strengthen food security and reduce reliance on imports. Agricultural experts note that timely access to inputs could significantly increase crop yields, especially for staples like maize, rice, cassava, and soybeans. Electoral experts are urging reforms in political behavior rather than focusing solely on legal amendments to improve Nigeria's elections. They argue that vote buying, violence, and manipulation persist despite repeated changes to electoral laws. Analysts say improving civic education, transparency, and accountability among political actors is essential. Security agencies also warn of threats such as misinformation and electoral violence. Stakeholders emphasize that credible elections depend not only on laws but also on political culture and institutional integrity. And that brings us to the end of today's national news update. But before we go, a recap of our main stories. Deadly bandit attacks intensify in Zamfara as farmers killed in fresh rural assault. Police launch nationwide manhunt after surging kidnapping cases across northern states. Tinubu government pledges stronger action on insecurity amid growing public concern. For continuous coverage and breaking developments, stay connected with the Papyrus Global Television at papyrusdaily.com. I am your host, Christiana Babayo. Thank you for watching.